presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros Logan. That's my girl, Logan Hackett. What's up, boo? You looking tan?
How are you? Yes, I'm in sunny Mexico and it is amazing and I absolutely love it.
What a life, girl. Mexico feels like a nice weather upgrade, perhaps, from Toronto right now.
Oh, absolutely. I can finally see the sun and feel the sun, which is so nice. But I feel like I'm my best self when I'm tanned.
Yeah.
And it's honestly just a whole new world.
You look good, girl. You're glowing.
You,
You're
thank
glowing.
you.
I'm happy that you found your peace in Mexico because I personally am stressed. Girl,
I'm so sorry.
I am overwhelmed. I am overstimulated. What a week. What a week in sports, in culture, in WNBA free agency, in the NBA, Luka to the Lakers. Girl, Beyonce dropped a tour, which, by the way, I am already on the pre-sale list for. Boop, boop, boop. And shout out to Beyonce, just won Album of the Year. Finally got the Grammy for it. Speaking of the Grammys, Kanye had his girl naked on the red carpet. I mean, it's just so much going on. My group chat has been on fire from so many different angles, and I'm just trying to process it all.
I do want to start with WNBA free agency because, as you said, that went absolutely crazy. I feel like every time I opened my phone, I was just shocked. The Fever added Dwana Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. So my question is, adding that to Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Caitlin Clark, how good are the Fever now?
Logan, I'm here to tell you. The Indiana Fever are very serious contenders now in the WNBA. And for me, I've actually kind of got them in that upper four. It's still for me hey, Liberty, Lynx, Aces, they're all up there. But right there in the top four is now the Indiana Fever, and they're coming in hot.
Yes.
They really have an influx of a lot of things that matter on a team. They've got defenders, they've got shooters, they've got spacing. Remember, that was a team that was just getting back to the playoffs for the first time since Tamika Catchings retired. Well, now you got an influx of veteran experience, champions, a new coach. I mean, they have everything, and all of this is being built around generational talent, Caitlin Clark. And think about just how much Caitlin made a jump off of that Olympic break. She blasted out of the Olympic break into the second part of the WNBA season. Can you imagine what she's going to do with an entire offseason to both physically and mentally rest and reset, to work on strengthening her body now that she understands what it takes to prepare for her second WNBA season? And what she already accomplished with an inexperienced team, now she's got a roster full of real weapons to work with. I mean, it's going to be bonkers. I'm very excited for the WNBA season. I mean, I can't wait. I think they're very serious.
And now it's the type of situation where it's not the all eyes on Caitlin effect, because you can't double team Caitlin, leave Dwana Bonner open or Sophie Cunningham. So, and actually one point that I had is with their new coach, she is a defense oriented coach. So when I initially looked at it, I was like, okay, they might have a problem on defense, but they have the coach to back it up. And I know that's going to be one of her first things because they also need to work on that last year.
Listen, if you want to break it down, I mean, Stephanie White is a great coach. They got championship experience in Dwana Bonner, Natasha Howard. They do have, I think they have defense as well. I mean, you've got Lexi Hull. That's welcome to Hull Island. That's 3-and-D. You brought back Kelsey Mitchell. That's a bucket. That's a bucket. That's a bucket. Aaliyah Boston. I'm excited for what the next step forward looks for this very young talent. And her and Caitlin in particular last season, their chemistry, their two-player game was getting crazy. And next season, it's going to be devastating. You got Katie Lou Samuelson, who's at Unrivaled, getting into the flow of things. And you mentioned Sophie Cunningham. I like her toughness, her attitude that she brings. And she's a very productive veteran. This is a squad.
Absolutely. But the Fever weren't the only ones who were making their waves. The Mercury added Satu Sabally, Alyssa Thomas, and they had the returner, Kalia Copper. And then the Dream combined Brittany Griner, Brianna Jones, and then returning is Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and Jordan Canada. So do these teams not crack your top four, or are they in there as well?
I think these teams have entered the arms race. They have absolutely elevated their potential and window of possibilities. However, I'm not ready to just throw them right into that top 4 yet. We've got to see what they do. Like, they have to mesh. They got to learn the plays. They got to learn one another. There's something to be said about continuity, chemistry for teams like the Liberty, who so far have mostly just kind of doubled down on their championship roster. The crown still goes through the New York Liberty, the reigning champions. You know, I'm looking at a team like the Lynx, who were in the WNBA finals, and they've got Nafisa Collier, who may emerge, it's possible, as the greatest player in the world next season. Or you've got Kayla McBride, who is going through a renaissance in her career right now. Kayla's doing this right now. Yep. You've got the Aces, who I expect to be better than last season. The Aces were banged up last season, you know, and that's both physically and mentally. You know, I think that just comes with the wear and tear of contending for the championship year after year after year. Like, that's natural. And, you know, Asia, as far as the conversation about best player in the world, that goes through her. She's the reigning champion, and she'll have more help too. You know, and there's something to be said about fresh blood entering a championship caliber team. So Jewel Lloyd coming in, I like that. That's, you know, someone who has been a bucket, and she won't have to be the number one option there. And I really think Jewel Lloyd has been at her best in her career when she's had less pressure on her shoulders and less weight of responsibility. This might be the perfect situation for her to flourish in, alongside, you know, a healthy Chelsea Gray and a healthy Jackie Young. So I think the Aces have a lot to do. Those other teams added great talent, but the teams at the top are there for a reason.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to tell you a little story. What really pissed me off was the fact that the WNBA was having all these big trades. It was like one after another after another. It was so exciting, so much fun. You had people who don't even talk women's basketball talking about it. But then the MNBA had to come in and pull the biggest, most random trade ever, with Luka Doncic going to the Lakers for AD. So AD is now with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
My reaction, well, I was actually woken up in the middle of the night. My boyfriend's like, "You'll never guess what happened," and was like shaking me. And I was like, "What?" That was not what I expected to hear, but I want to know what your reaction was to it.
Girl, I feel like that was everyone. There were people I haven't spoken to in years in my phone talking about, what you think about the trade? I'm like, you owe me money. Where you been? How dare you come here with that? But nah, I mean, it's explosive. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented. It's crazy. It's exciting. Okay, now that we've all had a chance to, like, calm down, it's been a few days since the trade has been made at this point. AD to the Mavs are not a bad team. I mean, it's crazy to lose Luka, but that's still a team that can contend if everyone is healthy on that team and if AD is healthy. So full stop there. However, you know, losing Luka and trading him away, all right, maybe he was chubby. Maybe there's reports that, you know, he complains. Maybe he enjoys a little bit of hookah in the off season, you know, like, but I feel like maybe you didn't want to pay him the supermax this offseason for all of these reasons. But what you did do, Mavs, is you gave him his villain origin story. So you sent him to LA. You know, now he's motivated. He's going to come back in shape. You're going to have to deal with him. He's in your conference in the West. He's going to join his icon and idol and LeBron James. He's not going to let him down. And, you know, you're talking about a 25-year-old generational talent in Luka Doncic. So the pressure is really on the Mavs. And there's this much. Hold on. There's this much that can actually, like, make this work out for the Mavs. And is it a team that is a very competitive team that makes a long playoff run and you know, has a nice squad? No. Is it a team that makes it back to the NBA Finals? Hey, they did it last year with Luka, and maybe they get back to the finals this year? No. The only way that the Mavs are slightly vindicated or validated by this move is with a championship. And even that's kind of a short-term victory. Although, first of all, a championship is a championship is a championship is a championship. It's very hard to get one. Full stop. So that's enough, right? But if, like, you're talking about trading away a 25-year-old generational talent, the long-term vision is you missed out on easily 10 years, a decade of dominant play from Luka Doncic. And, you know, so I just think, like, even just long and short-term vision, it's a really sticky situation for the Mavs.
Absolutely. And AD's not going to, well, based on what we've seen, I don't think he's going to just come in and win them that championship.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. So then let's do it this way, because you have some opinions on this one. So
Yeah.
for those who may not be following like the NBA, let's try to put this in terms of maybe languages that they know better. So, okay, the Luka and AD trade, could you do it for me in WNBA terms?
Yes. Okay. So let's take Sabrina Ionescu. She is pretty much the face of the Liberty. She's young. She's doing really well. And then trade her for, let's say, Neko Gomake and a first round pick. I
Okay.
mean, it's not to NECA has a lot of experience. She's a veteran in the league, but she's also not somebody who's going to go on the court and run things. She'll lead it, but she's not going to put up all those points day after day to win them a championship, if that makes sense. She needs the people around her. They're both completely
No,
different
you're doing
players, but she's more of a two-way.
I'm here for the comparison. You just know that that's my Stanford
I
sis,
know,
right?
I know. I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh gosh.
No. My God, I'll go to bat for NECA. I think she's still incredibly productive. Might have had one of her best seasons last year for Seattle. But I get the comparison of having a young star and giving it away for a more veteran, player. So okay, let's do it again. Explain this Luka and AD trade to me in NWSL terms.
I will say this is really hard because, I mean, as you just mentioned, NECA had a great season last year. So it's like these players are having really good seasons and it's very hard to make a direct comparison. But I want to go Sophia Smith for Lynn Williams. Sophia Smith, again, young generational talent. She is scoring. She's putting up all the goals and face of her franchise.
Okay.
But then Lynn is kind of more of like a powerhouse player, still productive, but she's not making those huge waves that Sophia is.
Okay. Do it again for me, Logan, right now. Like for one of my homegirls in the group chat that may not be watching WNBA or NWSL, but what she does understand is handbags. Explain this in handbags for us.
I love a good handbag. I mean, I guess it depends on your ranking because a lot of people have different rankings of the different brands and everything, but we're going a Chanel for a Birkin here.
Explain that because I want both purses.
A Birkin, I feel like it's like the exclusivity here. Like it's a diamond in a rough. You're not going to find it everywhere, and it's a bit hard. It's hard to obtain. It's hard to take Luka away from the Mavs. I mean, it happened, but a Chanel, it's more accessible to people. But it is still something that is very popular and people long for.
This one might have went over my head, Logan. we might need to revisit this one because all I know is you can't even just go into a store and buy a Birkin, but you can buy a Chanel.
Exactly.
So I don't know. My purse people watching, maybe let us know what the right purse comparison is to this trade.
But actually, with purses, I want to move on to Unrivaled. Things did get spicy this week between Angel Reese and Tiffany Hayes. That was another viral moment, actually. But the Owls now sit at the top of the standings, and the Mums are killing it, especially Dearica Hamby.
Yeah, no, Dearica Hamby has had some really great moments and already a signature game in Unrivaled this weekend. She dropped like 35 points. Let's take a look at just how dominant she's been in Unrivaled play for Team Vinyl, one of their more veteran players. Here's the thing about Dearica Hamby. Girl, she is going to outwork you. Dearica is going to put the work in, and she does a really nice job inside the paint, close to the rim, staying strong with the ball. She's very mobile. She's quite crafty and nimble and nifty in traffic through defenders and getting through there. She's able to just face up and attack. She's got great hands, so you can always find her. And, she's only 6'3", so she's undersized. Like, this isn't someone who's huge, but she really understands how to use her body. As far as positioning and setting up the pass and the assist, all those nice lobs inside and passes to her, she does a great job of utilizing her body, staying under control and balance to make that happen. And she's 31. So it's, she's not like, some young player in the league, but she continues to elevate her game.
Coming up next, we have a very, very special guest. A basketball legend is joining us. We'll see you soon.
What's up, good follow? This is Teresa Weatherspoon, better known as Teaspoon. Please don't go anywhere because I'm about to hang with my girl, Ros. Ears open. Stay a good follower.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Good Follow. I'm Ros Logan, and we are coming to you live right now from Unrivaled in Miami, and we have the great pleasure of having one of the legends of the women's game, a Hall of Famer, legends of the WNBA, legends of the New York Liberty, an Olympian, all the accolades you could have, a 5-time All-Star in the W, and now the head coach for Team Vinyl at Unrivaled, the Teresa Weatherspoon. We got T Spoon in the building.
I'm happy to be here. You know, I'm happy to sit with you anytime.
I am always honored to have your presence and your insight on me. I mean, I remember when the league started and I was like a kid going to like extra media or player availability with the players and seeing you. You meant everything.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it so much.
So I was just at practice today.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where you just came from.
Yes.
Every time that I am at your Sunday practice, there's gospel music on. Mm-hmm. So how do you use music to set up the vibes and the tone for your practices in gym?
Well, for me, I'm a gospel listener every day. I really don't play anything other than it's my motivational piece. And with the group that I'm with every Sunday, it's not me that put it on. They put it on. They put the gospel on, and it's motivating for them too. You know, we understand where everything comes from for us. So we give him time too.
Yeah.
We give him time in our practices. We give him time in our locker room. We make sure that we give thanks. And that's the way that we give thanks every Sunday when we're practicing.
Yeah, there's a real peace and calm when I come, you know, there's a real energy in your practices. And certainly that translates over to the court. You know, how's it been for you to get back to coaching at Unrivaled, especially after the surprise in Chicago?
Yeah, Raj, you know, it has been refreshing for me. I think everyone tends to think about what happened in Chicago. And, you know, I'm the first one to say I was shocked, surprised, hurt. I was all of those things because I didn't see it coming. Didn't see it coming at all. So I chose just to be quiet. I chose to be silent. I chose to move in my direction and not anyone else's direction. I chose not to speak the way I was spoken about. I chose not to do that. And there's a reason that I choose to be the way that I am, because that's my peace. And if I decide to be the way that you are, I lose my joy. I lose my peace. I give you consent to take from me. And I don't give consent. So I chose to be silent. I chose to be me, and I chose to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, players spoke up for you. Okay.
Thankful.
So you took the high road, and it was Angel Reese who came out publicly, one of the biggest platforms in women's sports, and spoke up for you. What does it mean that you get that kind of support from players? And I also know in New Orleans, everywhere you go, Zion, like, players rock with you.
Well, you know, I haven't spoken about any of this at all. But when you speak about the support that I've been given, the love that has been shown, the mad love that has been shown, and you talk about Angel hitting the platform and speaking up about how it was for me and what our relationship is like, it meant everything. You know, you hear people say it meant the world, it meant everything. I'm looking at you to tell you so you can feel that it meant everything. Because you start to wonder why. What was it? What could it have been? And when you have someone to stand with who she is and uses her platform and stand the way that she did, it meant everything to me, to my career, to what I've worked so hard for just one little thing like that could come in and destroy what you worked for. I think that was one thing that was standing out to me, is my career. I've worked hard. I've worked extremely hard, harder than what anyone could ever imagine, to be in the position that I'm in. I've taken bumps, bruises, hits. You know, I've taken all of that, and I'm still standing. So in my eyes, you got to really hit me hard for me to fall. You got to hit me really hard for me to fall. And I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to break. I'm going to still stand. And when you have someone speaking up for you, the way that Angel came forth, the way that Zion came forth, the way the other players came forth, just the W in general, and all the fans who've known me for all my life, and especially my family. When they stood, I was fine. There's no way that I wasn't going to stay standing. There's no way. You just find a way to move forward, knowing that when your chance comes, you stand in it. And my chance came here in Unrivaled. And I'm with an incredible team. They are They are so great at what they do, incredible at what they do. But one thing that I like the most about them is they are still sponges. They still want more. And when you are that good at what you do and you want more every day, that says a lot about who you are. That says that you want to be coached as hard as you can be coached. And that makes it easy for me to walk into that arena every day with the peace and the joy and the calm that you see in the practice. It starts with them.
Yeah.
It starts with them of holding themselves accountable, not having to be held accountable, but they take hold themselves accountable to their actions. And it makes it easy for me to hold them accountable because once you gain a relationship, it's easy to have that conversation. The strongest and probably the deepest conversations. It makes it easy because now I know who you are and why you do what you do.
Spoon, one of the big topics today in this building, as everybody's been walking around, we are here in Miami. WNBA free agency.
Ooh.
My gosh, have you been paying attention?
It's a woo wow.
It's a woo wow.
I mean, let me tell you, teams are putting this thing together. And I tell you this, and everybody's just gonna say I'm a little biased, but you normally do this when a team wins a championship. You take a look at how they built their roster, and then you take a look at your roster and say, how do I compete with that? And that's what I see. I see, teams really building their team to be able to compete with what the Liberty brings. And they're really stacking these teams, and it looks good. It looks good on paper, but now it's time to see what it's going to look like on the floor.
Right. So Spoon and I mean, obviously New York Liberty legend. I'm from New York. I'm calling the games. I help call the games with the Liberty. So I'm looking at the Liberty. Yeah, teams are trying to come for the champs right now.
And you're supposed to.
Right. As they did the Aces too, respect to all these top teams.
Absolutely.
But Indiana got better fast.
Quickly.
Phoenix,
quickly,
Atlanta,
quickly,
arms race.
Yes.
Influx of new talent.
And I'm telling you, every one of them at this moment should be thinking championship. But as you're thinking championship, there's a way that it has to be done because of the talent that's there. It's one ball, so there's going to be a lot of sacrifice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that takes some time to mesh, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So look at what happened with the Liberty. For the most part, the Liberty kind of ran back the roster.
Yes.
There was a chance where we thought maybe they'd get splashy in free agency, and instead they stayed with continuity and consistency. Yeah. But the other side, we're seeing other teams that just added talent. So what do you think about the process and approach of the Liberty who looked at their roster and kind of doubled down on them?
Build a dynasty. Why break it up? Why break it up? You don't. If it's still going and it's going at a very high level, why break it up? You don't break it up. You go ahead and build that dynasty. And that's what I think they want to do is build a dynasty with who they have in place right now. Of course, they're probably trying to find just this piece and that piece to add to it. Of course, they know what they want, but they're building a dynasty by keeping everybody together.
Yeah. From a player perspective, I mean, you were dominant for so long. How important is continuity?
It's probably the most important thing. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you can't gain that continuity and that chemistry, there's an issue. There's a problem. And I think that's what the Liberty has, probably over everyone else right now, because all these teams who's bringing in all these incredible, talented young women, it's going to take a minute to come together. Yeah. But the Liberty, they know one another. They have it. So all they're going to do is get a little bit better and a little bit better, a little bit better. And then everybody else is trying to come and match that.
Yeah. And during that championship run too, I was on the court in Barclays after Game 5 when the Liberty won.
Yeah.
I immediately saw you. Do you remember this?
Yes,
I immediately saw you on the sidelines. You were with Swincash. You were with injuries. I saw you. I mean, you kind of ooze the emotions. You were tearing up, and the streamers are coming down. And you, as a player, Spoon, you got this franchise so close. What did it mean to you to see the New York Liberty finally, after 28 years, break through and be a WNBA champion?
You know, when the confetti started to come down, I could remember it not coming down for us and trying to get out of it, trying to just get out of it because you're so hurt at the moment, so you just want to get out of it. But as it was coming down this time, I didn't want to move. I didn't want to move, and I was so proud of each one of them to take the history of the New York Liberty, to take it and run with it. And then celebrate with us. That I'll never forget that. I will never forget that they brought us in to celebrate with them, whether it was on the floor with them, in the background with them, and then on floats with them. I'll never forget that.
That meant a lot that they honored.
That meant everything to us, and we still talk about it. Still, that meant everything. That was them. They won it. They went out blood, sweat, and tears in that uniform. They did that in front of the crowd and got the crowd behind them. They did that and have celebrities sitting there watching them, coming to watch them, and Ellie did too. Ellie, you got to put Ellie in. So all that they did, they recognized us from before. Yeah. Come on. That meant everything. Yeah. That tells me, it told us who those young women were in that uniform. Not just as players, but who they are as people. Yeah. They know about their history, and they brought us in with it.
Yeah. You know, there's so much love, not only from the players currently to the past players and all that. I mean, just in the building at Barclays, the fan base, not even just Liberty fans, all of W fans. There was a moment that went viral. It was during a playoff run. It was at Barclays. It was pretty soon. It was after, you know, the breakup with Chicago for you. Yes. And you were in the building and they show you on the Jumbotron and the place erupts. I mean, they loved on you on the Jumbotron. What did it mean to you in that moment, that, like, getting that kind of reception from New York?
If I sit here and think about it too much, I might tear again. The one thing that I know about New York City and the people in New York City, they know who I am. They know who I am. They know what I give. They know what I bring. They know I live by holding myself first accountable and then everybody else around me. So they knew. They knew everything that was said about me. No, they knew. But for them to recognize me the way that they did that night and the things that I was going through at that moment, the anger that I had, the frustration that was over me, the why that was over me, and for them to do what they did, it was gone. It was gone immediately for me at that time because the love has never left. Recognizing who I am as a person, forget basketball, because I love people and I'll put people before myself to a fault. And then for fingers always to turn in the opposite direction, New York made me feel different.
Yeah. I remember the moment. I was emotional seeing it. And I actually think I saw it on social. I'm not sure if I was even at that game. But you deserve so much of that, Spoon.
I didn't know what to do. If you look at it, if you watch it over again, I didn't know what to do. Do I stand? I didn't know. And I've always been in the know in New York. I stand immediately. I recognize them as they recognize me because there couldn't be any me without them. It wouldn't be me without them if they didn't accept me for who I am as a player and as a person. So I didn't know what to do at the moment. If you look back at it, it's like, is she going to stand? What is she going to do? What is she going to do? I didn't know. I just wanted them to know at that time, let me get up to let them know I thank you at this moment more than I ever have in my life. I thank you.
Well, you are a part of women's basketball history. I mean, you were, when the WNBA started in 97, you were a player there. Now as a coach, 2025, you're here for another beginning of a league. Wow. So you saw the beginning of the W, now you're here for the beginning of Unrivaled. Yes. How does the momentum and impact and attention compare in these moments in time?
You know what I've thought about with that is starting in the W, you're a pioneer. So there's things that you have to help to grow, to better, to change. And that's what we were doing in the W to make sure that it was correct for our younger women to come because we wanted this thing to last forever. So we wanted to do it in the right way. So coming into Unrivaled, I'm feeling the same way. Really? To make sure that I'm letting them know, okay, now you're pioneers of this league. So now you have to pay attention to what must change, what must be better, and what must grow for the next ones to come. So it's the very same thing that I thought when it happened in the W to now bringing it to Unrivaled to make sure they understand what you must do for it to last for the next ones to come.
So what comes next for Spoon, if you can even imagine? Is it about continuing to find the next coaching position where you can be in this role? Is it about something else for you?
The one thing I want the world to know about me is I'm not just a basketball player. I'm not just a basketball coach. There's more to me than what anyone has ever seen or even know. So you never know what path God has for me. You never know. All I do is remain ready. I remain obedient. I do my work. I still be who I am. and I trust and believe in who God is in my life, it's going to lead me to my next step. And when I step into that next step, all the hits that I've taken, I'm just going to walk in with a smile, knowing that whatever it is that where he places me the next time, it's my place. Mm-hmm. It's my place. But I'm not worried about what's next. I just want to have myself prepared to be ready for what's next.
That's a bar. That's a word. Spoon, anytime I sit with you, I feel very lucky to gain some knowledge and just a perspective on life. Thank you for the time.
But I want to say this, because being around all the players here has been excellent. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm with Lionel and Enrique, Ryan, Dearica, Ray, Jordan, and the little Boston. They have been a rock for me. Mm. And I said to them, and I shared this with them in the locker room, is you all think that it's me pouring into you, but you all are pouring into me. You all are keeping me on my toes of being creative and innovative and staying sharp with what I must do to remain great at what I do. Mm-hmm. So my job for you is to go and be creative, be innovative, and bring it back to you. So we're all pouring into one another. Mm-hmm. We're all remaining great with one another. Yeah. I just want to make sure that what we give to them every single day, what I try to give to them every single day, mm-hmm. that it is sustained success. Mm-hmm. That whatever they carry from me, whatever they might get from me, that it's everlasting. Yeah. That's all I want. I want it to be everlasting for them, because I want to see them succeed.
Yes. It's very clear. And it's a two-way street. Thank you, Spoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the time.
I appreciate you. Thank you for just allowing that little piece to be spoken about who I am as a person.
Yeah, it was important to get this out today, huh?
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Spoon.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros, she's Logan, and we just want to, again, thank the legend, Teresa Weatherspoon, for spending time with us, sitting down with us for an amazing interview. Boy, anytime you get insights from her, it's incredible. But that brings us to our next guest. We got a big guest joining the show, deserving of the bell. Here we go. We are joined by U.S. Women's National Team legend, the host of the new podcast, Sports Are Fun, and Stanford fam, okay? Fellow Stanford Cardinal here. Please welcome Kelley O'Hara to the show. What's up, Kelley?
What's happening, guys? I can't wait. Am I following Teaspoon?
Yes.
Nobody told me that. That makes me feel a little, like legend. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm excited to listen to her segment.
Oh, girl, it is good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But she's a Hall of Famer, and you're clearly on your way. I mean, so we just got generations of Hall of Famers. You know what I mean?
Bookended. So, yeah, that's nice. I like that. Hopefully. I mean, I'm not yet, so she's definitely leading the charge there.
I'll hop into it. The 2024 NWSL season was insane and marked the end of an era for so many iconic players in the NWSL and the national team. I just want to take a look at this picture. Oh my gosh, this makes me sad every single time. This whole front row, you have Alex, Carly, Megan, yourself, Julie Ertz, you have Alyssa in the back. It's, first of all, actually, do you have any thoughts on this picture now seeing it?
Listen, you gotta pour one out for that 2019 team. There's a couple of people still from that team still going, but that was a group. It was a good group, and 2024, a lot of us hung it up, but that's what happened. So it's all good.
Yeah, and your final season was cut short by injury. So how did it feel to have to say goodbye that way?
Not as good as I think it would have felt if I got to say goodbye the way I wanted to, but that's life. And unfortunately, you don't get to, not everything goes your way. But the reality is I had so many amazing moments throughout my career that I was able to, knowing that my body couldn't do anymore, I was able to say goodbye with a lot of peace and a lot of gratitude. So I was very lucky and blessed, and would have loved to go out differently. But again, that's not how life goes sometimes.
So you knew basketball people. That brings me to Unrivaled. We saw that you were kind of mixing in on the scene here in Miami. So do you still like your Phantom choice as the best team at Unrivaled?
Listen, I chose them based on the jersey, right? Under Armour's doing the jersey. I had to be like, listen, this is the first time there's been a new league and there's new teams that I can choose my fandom based purely off of what the jersey looks like. Like, that's fun, you know? So
Fair.
I also liked them based on the players that they had. I will say that. But, rough start for the Ghost Gang. It's been tough, but I'm riding with them. I'm sticking with them. And, they're banged up a little bit in the beginning, but they're starting to get everybody back. And I'm Ghost Gang. I'm riding.
10 toes
Spoken
down.
like a loyal
Yeah.
fan.
100%.
And guess what? I actually still think that's a great choice. Just
I
because
do
they
too.
Yeah, they'll figure it out as the season goes along and they get more healthy and continuity, for sure.
For sure. I mean, again, the first couple games I was like, oh, this might be tough for me. Like, we might have to I'll stay with them through the season. I'm not going to jump ship now, but we might, have to reevaluate postseason. But no, they're doing good. I'm happy with my selection.
Okay, staying strong, staying loyal. By the way, your basketball clips, you got some skill. We probably could have used you on the Stanford women's basketball team. I know you was doing
Listen, Unrivaled is about to have their 1v1 tournament. I think that they should have like some celeb entries, some like lottery picks, Call a girl up. She's ready.
That pot is $250,000, so I would like a shot at it.
Let me get a shot at that. Let's go.
All right, you have a shot at this because we're bringing a game based around you, Kelley O'Hara. We have a legend here. In honor of your new podcast, Sports Are Fun, we're playing a segment called Is It Fun? Is It Fun? With Kelley.
Oh, God, I don't even know what's about to happen.
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
I sometimes workshop a bell on the show. Just stay with me.
I love it.
Okay, so we look at a topic and decide, are they having a fun week or a not so fun week?
Ooh,
with
okay.
Kelley O'Hara.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Here's the first one. All right, the NWSL. Denver was officially awarded the 16th NWSL franchise with a record-breaking $110 million expansion fee. But on the flip side, we're excited for Denver. We're now also seeing top talent leaving for international clubs like Naomi Girma's historic $1 million move to Chelsea. So was this a fun week for the NWSL or not so fun? Kelley?
It is very exciting for Denver. Exciting for the people involved in that expansion team, and exciting for the league, or at least the owners, to have garnered a $110 million fee for entry. Great for them. We'll see how the expansion plays out within the league. On the flip side, like you said, top talent leaving, I think it's obviously not been feeling great around the NWSL. So unfortunately, it's like this is a bad, I hate being like the one to not pick, but it's right down the middle, because you have, okay, this looks really great and shiny and good and exciting, but then you have to take into account what looks like a trend that's happening. And maybe it's just a moment, but hopefully it doesn't continue to happen, because I think we want to keep our best talent here.
Yeah, you want to be able to hold on to your top talent.
I do feel like, as an avid watcher fan, I'd love to hear your perspective on it as a former player, sorry. You do have the top talent leaving, but at the same time, you have top talent coming in from places that you wouldn't hear their name. Tema Schwinga, Rachel Kundanji, Barbara Banda, they're all top transfer fees. So do you think that kind of like balances it out a little bit?
I do. I think that the reality is this is global football. People are going to go to different leagues for whatever reasons they choose, whether it's the salary, whether it's the competition, whatever. But they're going to make that choice based purely on themselves as an individual, as a player that they are. So yes, do we want to see a Naomi Girma going to Chelsea? I'm excited for Naomi. I think she's going to crush it over there. I'm excited to watch her play at Chelsea and against that competition. Would I love to see her stay in NWSL? For sure. But it's the reality of the game. You're going to have your best stars kind of all over the place. But I do know that the owners in, the front office of the NWSL, their goal is to be like top talent. The top players in the world play here. And I think that's maybe kind of what people are feeling a little unsure about, of we have these big stars leaving, but like you said, we have other ones coming in, and people who might not know their names yet, but they become stars when they enter here.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting conversation and discourse. We have to move along in the game.
I know, sorry, that was way too long. I should have just said middle.
Everyone's having fun. Everybody's a winner here.
Right.
No, we having you here. We can't wait to hear more on your insights. Next, we have your old stomping grounds in Gotham FC. So, once considered the NWSL's super team, they've now lost stars like Lynn Williams, Yasmin Ryan, Crystal Dunn to PSG. They still have some familiar faces like Ella Stevens and Ros Logan, plus new additions with Brazilian star Gabby Portillo and Jalen Howell. So as we kind of evaluate Gotham FC here, was this a fun week for Gotham or not so fun, Kelley?
You know what? I have inside information, and it was a fun week.
Oh, tell us.
Yeah. Like, I think the vibes are good. And they're over in Spain right now training. And yeah, I think Gotham's having fun.
Okay. I think we take your word for it. I'm sure you have your sources. Okay. We have one more segment of Is This Fun with Kelley O'Hara. I do my own sound effects here. We have to end with this one. We're going to transition to football of the American kind because we have the Super Bowl this weekend.
We do.
The Chiefs are going for the three-peat. Eagles fans are being Eagles fans, and Kendrick, fresh off of just sweeping through the Grammys, he and SZA are performing at halftime. Is this going to be a fun or not so fun Super Bowl, Kelley?
You know, I have seen some headlines around like the fatigue of the Chiefs being back in it and going for a three-peat, and I do kind of get that. I think that has anyone three-peated before?
No,
Oh, girl, I really only know about
Right,
basketball.
so like that's fun. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea. I think that's fun. I think that it's a fun week. History is about to be made potentially, and if not, then Eagles fans can be like the Eagles fans are and just get absolutely wild and be stoked that they ruined the Chiefs' fun. And I'm here for the commercials and the halftime show. So I'm gonna have fun.
Right. It's fun for us, the fans.
Right.
I too, I culturally enjoy the Super Bowl. Like, I'm in it for the culture. I'm in it for the, hey, who are we hanging with? I'm in it for the snacks, the commercials, halftime, the group chat. I also think there's compelling storylines. Like, I enjoy excellence. Good for the Chiefs if they can do it 3 times. I support Taylor Swift. I support Jalen, what's his name? Jalen Hurts. Like, we were excited for him. What about you, Logan? What are you in it for the Super Bowl?
Kendrick Lamar as someone from Toronto. Like, that doesn't make sense. But honestly, I'm really excited to see him perform. And SZA, I've been listening to a lot more SZA, and I think he's just going to continue dancing on the grave of Drake, which, sorry, Drake, but it's kind of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be big. It's a big moment for Kendrick. And this was a big moment for us, Kelley. Thank you for joining our show and coming through. It's nice to really talk with you as a fellow.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to come through on our pod. So we're going to have guest co-hosts. So we'll have you guys on. It'll be fun. Thank you guys for having me today. This was super fun. I really enjoyed it.
The crossover. I got you. Ever want to talk any basketball? I got you.
We need that. 100%.
Welcome back to Good Follow. I'm Ros, she's Logan, and this segment is presented by DraftKings. All right, we've got a matchup that I've got my eye on, and it is this Friday's upcoming Unrivaled matchup between the Lunar Owls and the Phantom. Let's dive in even deeper. Through 3 weeks of Unrivaled play, the Owls are still undefeated, and the team that I think has the most potential and talent when healthy and together that can beat them is the Phantom. Now, the Phantom, they got out to a rocky start, but they've looked more cohesive. They've had more and more of their roster available to work with. And if you're looking for star power, it's with Brittany Griner for the Phantom. She's a highly efficient post, and in a 3-on-3 situation, if there's no help, BG is going to eat. For the Owls, let's take a look at Skylar Diggins-Smith. She is super clutch. She just came off of hitting her 4th game winner for the Owls, and she's always putting pressure on the defense with her attack of the rim. And overall, the Owls share the ball very well and have an offense that can come at an opponent like an avalanche. Like, everyone's going to get their touches and shots. So I still have them winning this one and staying undefeated. Logan, that's my pick for DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Absolutely love your picks. And we have to end the show talking about A'ja Wilson, Caitlin Clark. I know you're just talking about legends, but we need to talk about these legends. And they just had their jerseys retired, which is so crazy to think of, especially given how young both of them are. But to make things sweeter for Caitlin Clark, Iowa upset number 4 USC. So I just want to know throughout this whole thing, what was your favorite part?
Well, first of all, 2 legends get their jerseys retired on the same day. Congrats to both. For Caitlin, I thought it was really cool how Iowa stepped up and upset USC and did that with their legend coming back. You know, USC was on a 15-game winning streak at that point. And then Nike stays coming through with a custom one-of-one jacket for their superstars. And they had a really cool coat with all of the accolades for Caitlin that she had. And it's like, I'm surprised they didn't run out of thread, you know? So I thought that was really cool for Caitlin. What about you for Caitlin's retirement?
I loved the whole thing, and it's crazy to think of someone so young being able to do this already. Normally you see it happen a little bit later, but I do just want to make a huge shout out to USC, the whole team, even Juju's parents staying in their courtside seat to watch that whole ceremony go down after being upset by Iowa. Like, I would be so down bad. I'd be like, get me off the court. I don't want to watch this type of thing. But I have mad respect for them staying and watching the whole entire thing. And then Caitlin even shouting them out at the end.
Yeah, super classy. And I mean, you know, greats respect greats, game recognize game. On the other side of the jersey retirement day, A'ja Wilson at South Carolina. First of all, just the amount of love that poured in for A'ja Wilson. I mean, Jackie Young came from Unrivaled. So did Alicia Gray. Both came in from Miami to support A'ja. Obviously, like the reunion with A'ja and Dawn Staley is amazing there. For me, a personal moment that stood out is like when A'ja was called out and she's posing for the camera and taking pictures. And I'm watching A'ja and I'm like, go A'ja, you so cute, you so cute. And then immediately the current South Carolina players come running out behind her, like, and absolutely get in formation and start posing with her. And I literally was like, A'ja, you couldn't be cooler. You couldn't be cooler. Because what are they? They're like Gen Z, right? Like, they think she's cool. They're following her lead. They got her back. And I'm looking at generations of Gamecocks, and I'm like, that's so dope. And I was like, that's awesome. And then, of course, the hard launch. You know, the shout out to her favorite Olympian. Bam, bam, bam. You know, having her boo there and kind of like a public hard launch of their relationship was really cute. She's all smiling and geeking and like smiley and stuff and giddy. And I'm so happy for A'ja. This is such a happy, prosperous time in her life. And I'm happy that she gets to feel all of these things. How about you, Logan?
Yeah, I will say watching the her speech. I love watching speeches, especially to see like how heartwarming it is. And I was shocked that she made it so far without crying. And then the second it got to her parents and like, I hope I've made you proud, she started crying. I started crying to my phone. Like, it was such a special moment just through and through. But I just absolutely love seeing that. And as you said, A'ja is killing it right now.
Killing it. Just also dropped her A1 sneaker, and the shoe looks incredible. It is super clean in design. It looks very comfortable, and the pink colorway has a lot of storytelling around it. It's very cute. It's very A'ja. It very much hits her personality. And, you know, shout out to everybody who was able to keep this low key and a secret, because she just blasted out jersey retirement, sneaker, and it's more than sneakers. It's a slide. It's clothing. There's a leg sleeve. Like, go A'ja. What a time in your life. And guess what? She's just getting started.
Yeah, I can't even like comprehend it. I look at myself, I'm 24, she's 28, 4 years. I think I'd love to do that like in a lifetime plus one.
Wouldn't we all? Okay, y'all, that is it for this week's episode of Good Follow Show presented by DraftKings. We want to make sure to thank Kelley O'Hara for coming on the show. A big thank you to Teresa Weatherspoon for coming on the show. Nothing but heavyweights and legends here. We want to thank all of you for watching our show. We're building this thing together from the ground up. As you can see, we're trying to build up our subscribers. Please subscribe. Please share. Follow us on social media. We got more coming. For my girl Logan in Mexico.
Hola.
Right. And for me, Roz, we'll see you next week. Thanks for rocking out with us.
Bye, guys.